Welcome to Fireside Chats with Christ Church. I'm here again with Elder Keith Peterson, and we are going to give you a small preview of one of our booklets, Fundamentals of the Fullness of the Gospel. Please look for a link in the description or the comments where we are going to post both an audio version as well as a PDF version of this essay, so that hopefully, if you'd like to, you can take a look at the deep gospel reasons why certain parts of the gospel are fundamental and what those are. So, Thanks for joining me, Elder Keith.
Of course.
Tell us a little bit about this pamphlet and how you use it when you teach people.
I give it out to quite a few people after we've had a conversation like we did in our last video. And honestly, it's just such a good read because it has so many quotes and references in it that actually talk about the ordinances and why they're saving ordinances and why they should remain the same. Okay. And this is actually something that, in the very beginning it says the gospel is eternal and unchanging.
I guess let's ask the question for each of these. Well, what does it mean that the gospel is eternal and unchanging?
Well, it's pretty self-explanatory. The understanding is the gospel has been here from eternity to all eternity, and it's been the same the entire way around, right? That's the understanding we have for how all of these worlds are created, right? We don't believe that it's a continuous succession of world and world, and it's always been progression in a certain eternal round with an eternal law and an eternal gospel.
You're saying that when we say it's eternal, you meant your first example was the truth has been the truth even before this world was created. It's always been the same. What is point number 2? Why do true prophets not contradict one another? I mean, can't one prophet say one thing and another prophet later say something different?
No, that's actually something that is actually talked about by Joseph Smith, an example of how can you tell if an angel is in fact an evil spirit. He says in Teach Prophet Joseph Smith, page 214 through 215, where he explains the way to discern if it is a false angel is by the, having sandy hair, and also him contradicting a previous revelation. So the only way that God can actually, if we know for certainty it is a revelation from God, is it's in accordance and consistent with the past revelations.
What's our next point?
The saving ordinances cannot be altered or discarded.
First, we have to understand what's a saving ordinance.
It's an ordinance that is necessary for salvation, as in like baptism.
Okay, so baptism is an example of a saving ordinance. Why can't it be changed or discarded? Why is it necessary?
It's the foundation, it's the path that God has set for us to be able to receive salvation, right? It's the same path that he trod when he was on the earth, so it's the only way we can ourselves experience and be able to go into the covenants that are actually associated with these ordinances. And that's the most important part, is we are making our covenants with God as we go down into the waters of baptism and are brought up and literally born again, a new creature. And so the only way for us to enter into the kingdom of heaven is not as mortal men, but be born and born again.
That's what a saving ordinance is. Why can't they change?
The idea is that the only way we can be in accordance with the path that God has tread is we follow it precisely to the T, and if it is not in that accordance, then it is not going to lead you to the correct place. So an example of, let's go with a plane is on course towards its destination. And even though it's the smallest turning from the path after traveling for hundreds of miles, it will have a completely different destination, right? So it's just very plainly taught that the only way we can know for certainty that we can actually trust God is he's consistent. And if he's consistent, his ordinances and his doctrines must be consistent.
All right, what's point number 4, our last point?
The requirements for exaltation do not vary.
So you're saying that I might have to do the same thing you have to do, which is the same thing other people have to do, which is the same thing as like the prophets had to do, and everybody has to do the same thing.
Correct.
Why is that?
Because God is not a respecter of persons. He does not value one person over another. We're all valued the same. And if we're all valued the same, that means we must all do the same to get to the same location.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for explaining that. If you'd like to get a copy of this essay, please check out a link below in the comments or in the description. And if you have questions about any of these 4 keys to understanding the unchanging gospel of Jesus Christ, please put it in the comments and we'll try to answer it. That the gospel is eternal and unchanging, the true prophets do not contradict one another, that the saving ordinances cannot be altered or discarded, and that the requirements for exaltation do not vary, really form a basis, I think, for us understanding what does it mean to hold fast and true to the gospel of Jesus Christ. And those 4 things are really just different examples, different ways of looking at the same problem, which is, can we trust? That was one of the things you said that I liked the most. Can we trust God? Do we know what he wants from us? Do we know if we're pursuing the path that leads to him? The only way we can really know is if the Lord is consistent enough for us to trust him.
Amen.
So thanks for joining me today.
Of course.